Okay, standing up nice and tall. Soften down that tailbone, guys, and then just slight nod of the chin, get the lengthening at the back of the neck. Let's set the shoulders up, back and down. And again, inhale up, exhale down. And just one more. Good. Hold it down and move through side bend. So not too big to start. Keep your knees soft. Keep your hips still by having a little connection into those glutes. So tighten up the glutes, draw the belly button in towards the backbone. Reach towards the skirting board. Next one is your last one. Super, let's just have a release there. And grip the pelvis, soften the knees. Start to move through pelvic tilt. So just opening out this tight band across the back of the lumbar spine. You can start quite small, hopefully as it loosens off, you can make it a bit bigger. So feeling the hip flexors at the front, lumbar spine at the back, last one. Settle in neutral, pull up through the thighs. Keep your feet fully connected to the floor and let's just sway. So just moving through the shoulders, switching on the stability. And then let's start to lift slowly through the feet, not too high at first. In your own time, perhaps go higher with the arms if that doesn't throw your spine out of neutral. Let's make sure we are drawing in through the abdominals. Breathing out on the lift and in on the lower. Super, stabilize your ankles, please. One more time. And come on down. Good. Give those legs a shake. And then take the feet shoulder width. Fingers in the breastbone, shoulders relaxed. Headlights on those hips if you can. Breathe in. Breathe out, rotate to the right corner. And again, possibly not much range of movement to start. Ease into it. Breathing out. And in. So we want to target thoracic spine, but if that means some of your lower body needs to join in, that's okay. So we only want the hips and the pelvis still. If it's pain-free, squeeze into the glutes, help to stabilize the pelvis, push the arms forward, bow and arrow please, hand to hip, looking over the shoulder. Couple more, slight nod of the chin before you turn the head. So we release the back of the neck. Hopefully nothing's crunching there. If it is, I can't hear it because you're on mute. Arms down, give everything a good shake. Standing on the left leg, right leg forward, lift small amount off the floor and flex and point. Please hold on to something if you need to. Bring in your wrists if that feels okay. And then let's have rotation, please. Go the other way. And relax. Forward and lift. Tummy in, flex and point. Think about pulling up on this right thigh and tightening into the buttock. Pull the tummy in, stabilize everything through the lower half of the body. circle, and go the other way. And relax, guys. Give everything a good shake there. So let's have palms up, shoulders down and back. Feet fairly narrow for this one, into waiter. Breathe in, breathe out, squeeze the scapulas together. So we want to feel the shoulder blades coming towards the centre of the spine. What we don't want is to lift through the sternum to do it. So soften down the ribs. Can you now slightly nod your chin, lengthen through the back of your neck, and turn your head to the right as you squeeze through the shoulders. Good. Last one. And relax, just release everything there. So we're going to do hip hinge into squat once I've had a sip of my coffee. So standing with your feet shoulder width apart, hands behind the back to help you. Just use your arms as a guide to get that neutral spine. Soften the knees, don't move from the knees, hinge from the hip. Pull the belly button in, not too far again at first, because we want to stretch the glute. We want to open the hip joint. You can start to creep a little bit lower, provided your lower back is not talking to you. So we want to go deep if we can, but not at the expense of the back. If your hamstrings are tight, mine are tight, did lots of squats yesterday. Ooh. Ease into it. Power up the glutes to come back. This one will be your last one. So this is the last big hip hinge. And then we'll make it much smaller as we add it to the squat. So small hip hinge, about 45 degrees. Knee bend, sit into the heels. Again, not too deep at first. Warm up the quads. Get those knee joints lubricated. Get the weight back into the heels. Can you either let your arms hang if you can maintain neutral, or let them float? Now, if you feel more supported with your hands behind your back, that's fine. Go there. That helps you maintain the shape. Breathing in on the way down and out on the way up. Let's add our heel raise if we can. Float up and balance. Come down, hip hinge and squat. One more time. We're going to hold this last squat down if we can. Hold here, tummy in and pulse. You can do that with hands on thighs or behind the back, or you can come up a little bit if it's uncomfortable. Got 4 to go. 4, 3, 2, 1 and push up. Well done. Just shake it off there. Have a release. So we're going to come into calf stretch with dart. So we're going to go right foot forward, left foot back, press the heel down, both feet pointing the same way, knee over ankle, tummy pulled in. Let's raise the back heel up, inhale, front leg not moving. Exhale, push down, shoulder squeeze into dart. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Squeeze into dart. Super. So hopefully you can see my front knee stays in line over my ankle. My back leg is straight. My chest is opening at the front. Squeezing into dart at the back. So scapular retraction. It's my last one. Squeeze the shoulders and then let the arms hang. Coming into lunge. If you can't lunge, do squat. Lift your heel, hip hinge. So mini lunge first, focus on the legs. Focus on this knee being over the ankle and the back leg dropping towards the floor but not touching the floor. If you feel safe to add the hip hinge, you can add the hip hinge and come quite low. Guys, those of you with knee or back issues, hand on the thigh, or you can even make it a squat, or you could just stay with the heel raise at the back. So just moving through the legs to challenge the balance in some way, doesn't matter which way it is. Inhaling on the way down, exhaling on the effort as you push up. So last one. And relax. Give everything a shake. And we'll move to the other side. So 1 foot forward, 1 back, pushing into that front leg, knee over ankle, not over toe, back heel on the floor, tummy in. Up inhale, back ankle, press down, squeeze into dot. Inhaling to lengthen. Exhaling to press and squeeze. Super, so scapular retraction, stretching the chest, strengthening into the upper back, challenging the balance, stretching the calf. Guys, you can just stay with this if that feels right for you. Otherwise, let the arms hang, lift the heel. Hip hinge, mini lunge or full lunge, squat or heel raise. Just something to challenge your balance, engage your core, set your breathing pattern and just warming up those deep muscles in the legs. Let's have 3 more of whatever option you've gone with there. These are good, well done. Guys, you've got 2 to go. Coming into our last one. And relaxing, brill. Okay, let's have a look at our roll down. So make sure you have space for roll down. Obviously partial roll down, absolutely fine. Feet under hip sockets. Let's start with a big inhale into shoulder extension. Option to add upper back extension if that feels okay. Arms are coming down. Nodding my chin, rounding my shoulders. Just coming as low as the bottom rib. Not low at all just yet. Breathing in here. Breathing out, unrolling. Stretch up, inhale. Extend through shoulders, option to extend through spine. Arms down, flexion, neck, upper back. Can you roll down as low as your bottom rib? Hands are probably just below the knees. Belly button is pulled in, pelvis is tucked, knees are soft. Sway those arms if that feels good. Support on your thighs if it doesn't feel good. Inhale, exhale and uncurl and restack your spine. Super. Inhaling up, exhaling down. So now you don't need to come with me. You can just work at your own pace. Everything curves, nice C curve. I'm coming hands about shin height or ankle height, but my arms are still hanging loose if I don't need support. I'm going to give them a little sway, keep pulling my belly button in and keep my knees soft. Uncurling slowly. Next time, if you feel ready to place some weight into your hands, please do. So I'm coming down, placing weight into my palms. I need to bend my knees more to do that because my hamstrings are horribly tight. My head is down, I'm looking through my legs. From there, either walk forward or roll back up. So you are either just mobilizing your spine or you're you're coming into downward dog and stretching your shoulders and your hamstrings, possibly pedaling your feet to stretch your calves. So now please just work at your own pace. If you feel confident to come forward into plank, please do. That can be plank on your knees. 2 breaths in each position. Give me 2 press-ups, either on the knees or the toes. Pulling back through downward dog, walking in and unrolling. Please continue to work at your own pace. So we've got roll down, roll up for the spine. We've got downward dog, stretching the shoulders and the hamstrings. And then we've got plank and press up, just starting to engage the core. These are looking great, guys, well done. Let's have one more round of whatever option you've chosen. So really take your time with this, layer it. You want 2 breaths in each position. Please don't rush it, because we are going to continue to release the spine in a moment when we get to the floor. So take your time with that last set, and once you've finished it, can you tip your screen so that your mat is in it, and hopefully so are you. And I'll just tip my camera here. Coming onto all fours safely when you're ready. So transition to the floor. Let's continue to release the spine with a cat stretch. So I'm tucking my tail under, rolling from the bottom to the top of my spine this time. My weight is even between my hands and knees as I move. My elbows are soft. So the difference with the cat stretch to the roll down is the cat stretch starts from the bottom of the spine, not the top. It starts from the bottom of the spine, whether you are in flexion or extension. Keep the elbows soft. Make sure you've got body weight in your arms. You are breathing out as you round. And breathing in as you release. Can you start to find your neutral spine? So settle in neutral, guys. Nice flat back. Tummy pulled in. Let's go Superman. Right arm, left leg extends and it lifts to body height if that suits you. It hovers off the floor on the way back in and we go again. Now 4 on the right, 4 on the left. Your thumb is on top as your arm floats up. Your leg is straight as it extends and lifts. More important to lengthen to the walls than get height. So lengthening away. Lovely. Drawing the belly button in. Breathing out to slide and lift against gravity. Breathing in to come back and hover. And so when we come back to the hover, that's where we're challenging that balance. Stabilize your pelvis. Can we keep moving, please? 4 on the right and 4 on the left. So stabilizing shoulders and pelvis, engaging core. Make sure you've got that bracing feeling. Little squeeze into the glute as the leg lifts. Keeping the thumb on top, guys. We're finishing with 4 on the left. So when you've done your last set of 4 on the left, come on back to shell or cat if you prefer. You can sit back towards the heels. You can circle the wrists if you want to. You can take your hands to your ankles if that feels appropriate for you. Take some breaths. Hands coming to the side of the knees, support the body weight. Uncurl the spine. Super. Come on down onto your bottom. Let's have a look at our seated roll back. So guys, you might want a cushion or a block or a ball. Ball's the best thing if you've got it. So popping the ball behind me, And if the back's not great, it needs to really be touching. It can be a bit further away if your back is okay. So starting on your bum bones, holding the legs, scooping under and rolling, and checking that your ball or cushion is in the correct position. The correct position is to switch the abdominals on whilst not irritating the back. So if you're happy that you are there, roll forward, shoulder extension, inhale. Exhale, scoop, make a C curve with the spine, come into bow and arrow, elbow to the floor. Rolling in the C curve forward, inhaling up. Exhaling, scooping, rolling into bow. Can we keep this moving? And can we keep it quite slow, please? Slower is better. So we will add a little bit more strength shortly, but at the moment we really just want to mobilize the spine, release the shoulders, get that rotation into the mid and lower back, and get the waist muscles woken up. Good. So let's make the next one the last one. And when you finish, legs wide, forward into slump stretch. Breathe into the back of your rib cage. Uncurl your spine. Either repeat what you've just done or add some resistance with a dumbbell. So going shoulder press, roll into my C curve, hold here with elbows tucked in and rotate for 1, 2, 3 or 4, maximum of 4 there. Obviously less if it's irritating your back. Guys, if your shoulders don't like the press with a weight, then you can just have it into your chest. Or feel free to work without the weight. You've still got loads there, you're still using your upper body weight. Just with us being so light and not weighing anything, sometimes we need resistance. So we're going to do 2 more. Coming into my last set. And then get rid of your weight and either come back to the slump stretch, or if cross leg forward fold is okay, please go there. Take some breaths. Brilliant. Let's bring the knees up. Come on down onto your back. So lying flat on the mat, have your weights and your ball and your block nearby, maybe your hog, whatever else we've got there. And if you want something to support your head, again, ball, cushion or block. And then once you're down there, put your feet and knees together so your ankle bones are touching. Arms out to the side, palms up. And then let's hip roll slowly right and left. And again, rotating into the lower back. So start off small. Keep your ankle bones together. So make sure as you rock to the right, your left foot fully leaves the floor. I find it better just to do this on the balls of my feet with my heels up slightly. Helps me stay connected through my abdominals. Breathing in to drop and out to lift. And then you can start to make this much bigger if it feels good. So that we rotate higher up the spine. I'm just going to move off this creaking floorboard because as stiff as I am, that's not me creaking. Can we finish with 1 to the left, please? And then come on back to center. And can you bring both knees into the chest Either hold the knees or the backs of the thighs and just draw a circle there. Hopefully lifting your bottom as you go round so you get a really good stretch. And then circle the other way. Good. Guys, can you put your left foot on the floor? Keep hold of your right knee. Put your left hand on the floor. Can you draw a circle just with that right leg? So the bum's not lifting now. We're rotating the leg inside the hip socket. Different stretch. Circle it the other way, please. Small is fine. Place that foot on the floor and change. Right hand on the floor, left hand on the knee, and then we start to draw a small circle, any direction. If you don't want to hold it, just put both hands on the floor, that's fine. Just want to really get into the hip, but if you need support, hold it. Good. Guys, we're going to go single leg stretch. That can be from the floor or it can be from knees hugged in. When you're ready, breathing out to stretch one leg away and hold the other leg. So easier option, take your toe to where the ceiling joins the wall. Harder option, to lower the legs. Hardest option, to lift the head and shoulders. We can go into a little bit of rotation here if we feel okay. So that's shoulder to knee. If you let go of your legs, you're adding load, resistance. And again, that can just be up the center, lifting through the breastbone, or it can be rotating through the waist. Good. So extending that leg away. If you can work with a bent knee. If your hips or lower back on, enjoying that straight leg. Last one, guys. And relax. Let's come down, feet to floor. Knees bent, arms out to the side. So we're going to do open knee hip roll if we can now. Maybe put something between your knees if you're struggling, or work with your knees together. But if you can take your feet the width of your mat, please do. And then we'll drop the knees to the right, so the left leg is rotating internally. Your hip or your back might not like that, so something between your knees will avoid that internal rotation if you need it. Breathing in to drop, and breathing out to lift. If you can turn your head in the opposite direction, please do. And then we've got a bigger spiral down the spine, through the pelvis. Good. Next one is your last one. Super. Guys, when you're ready, can you pop your chi ball under your sacrum? If you've not got a chi ball, use a cushion. So chi ball will give you a little bit more challenge on your stability. You can put your hob under there if you like, or you can just stay flat on the mat. So we've just worked with knees over tummy. Now we don't want to do that. We want knees over hips. So put your fingertips on your hips or the floor, and you can lift one leg, or you can lift both legs and stabilize there. So if you're working with your feet on the floor, you're lifting one leg at a time. If you're in tabletop, you are tapping a toe to the mat with a bent knee, or you are single leg stretching away. And again, if you're single leg stretching, lower is more challenging. Draw your attention to your spine now. Watch your rib cage isn't flaring. Have your shoulders pinned into the mat. Take your fingertips to the ceiling. if you can balance, and then you can scissor opposite arm to leg. Now, often when we add the arm pattern, it'll make you too unstable. So a little bit of a rock is okay, but we don't really want to be swaying. None of this should be affecting your back. So you'll get that bracing feeling wrapping round in your transverse abdominals, but that's all we want. Like a slight build-up of pressure, not pulling through the back, rib cage not flaring. So counting you down, 5, 4, 3, just caught sight of my hair, 2, and 1. Brilliant. Leave the ball or cushion underneath you. Stretch across it if you can. So full body stretch. So 2 straight legs, and then arms to the side, bit easier on the shoulders, arms overhead, bit more challenging. So back arches, rib cage flares, and we take some breaths there. When you're ready, arms come over, legs draw in one at a time. We lift the bottom, we take whatever we've got under there away, and then if you can roll with your right ankle on your left knee, go there. If you want to leave 2 feet on the floor, please leave 2 feet on the floor, together or apart. So rolling right knee towards the floor on the right, right toe to the floor on the left. And just go in that direction, doesn't have to make contact with the floor. It's just going to depend on how tight everything is. Coming up to centre and changing legs if you can. Again, option of 2 feet on the floor if you prefer, knee to the floor on one side and toe towards the floor on the other side. So last one moves to the right. Coming back to centre and placing 2 feet on the floor. Brilliant. Guys, when you're ready, please roll onto the side of your body. And then I want you to put the smooth side of your hog under your head. You've not got a hog, block or a cushion. I'd like you to have your chi ball nearby. We're not going to use it just yet. So coming down, stacking on my sides. So side leg series first. Shoulders are stacked, hips are stacked, abdominals are engaged. Bottom rib is off the floor. I'm going to take a breath in, and on my out breath, option to lift one arm, one leg with the ankle relaxed. Option to glue 2 feet together and lift, and that's a smaller lift. Option to lift the head and neck and start to work more into the obliques. So you can choose any of those variations. You may want to still lift your head, but just lift one leg, and that's okay. You may want to lift 2 legs, but you might need your hand on the floor to support you as you do it. So we're trying to work in what we call lateral flexion. The more of our body that leaves the floor and joins in with that challenge for the waist, then the harder we'll be working. So we want to engage the core. Watch your legs are not lifting high and then rolling off the hip in order to get height. That's not what we want. Let's hold this last one up. So your head can be up or down. Can you scissor the legs? That might just be your top leg. It might be your top and bottom leg. Watch that you don't flick from the knee. Coming through the hip, Making it bigger if it feels okay. Stabilizing through the pelvis. Might need to bring the hand down if you're going for a bigger kick. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come on down. Feet together, palms together. Draw the knees in. Top leg hugs or drops. Give it a little rub there. Guys, if you're able to take your leg behind you by bending your knee, please do. Hold the ankle or just take the leg there. Okay, so you don't have to hold it if it hurts the knee. Slide your bottom leg out and try to get your thighs parallel. If you're not holding the foot, you can just roll a little bit through the hips to get the hip flexor stretch. Hold. And then release, guys. Coming into clam, draw your knees in at about 45 degrees. So feet, hips and shoulders all in a straight line on the mat. Hitch the bottom rib off the floor. Palms are together. Level 1. Glue your big toes together. Rotate your top leg. Now, if that hurts because there's a bit of rotation in, you can just lift a whole leg. Whole leg might be kinder on the hips, but still challenge the glutes. Toes up, knees down. Reducing the base of support. So more challenging on your stability. Bigger range of movement through the legs. Hardest option, guys, is to lift and hold. Extend the leg with a flexed foot. That will avoid cramp. Not always, but most of the time. Toes come back together and leg drops down. Good. If it helps to put your hand around there on that glute medius, check what's working. Check the pelvis isn't rolling. As you lift and exhale, can you try to recruit through that abdominals and then into the pelvic floor as well? If you can make a connection there. It's a really good position to connect into the pelvic floor. Next one is going to be your last one. And we relax, guys. If it feels okay, either drop a bent leg or flex your foot and drop a nearly straight leg in front. Don't lock it, but feel it lengthen through the hamstrings and glutes. So we're going to finish on this side with open door. So ball or cushion between your knees. And that's a little bit subjective. It might feel better between your shins, between your thighs, but get it where it feels right. Hitch the rib, palms together. I want you to squeeze on that ball. Do it now and stay connected into the lower half of the body. Float the arms. Stay connected in the lower half of the body, guys. So upper body is mobilizing, lower body is fixing. Breathe in, breathe out and close. So when we come into that open door, we're going to hold it for at least one breath. We are going to continue to squeeze on the knees so we get a connection on the inner thigh. We're going to draw up on the pelvic floor and draw the belly button in. Holding minimum one breath, more if it feels good. So if when you open, you're getting quite close to the floor, unless you're a bendy wendy, something else is possibly moving. So I know I can come to about where the ceiling meets the wall. I can go a bit lower when I've done a few, but I definitely can't touch the floor. Otherwise that means possibly something's joined in, like my hips or my lower back, and I don't want them to join in. This is going to be your last one. Are you still squeezing the knees? Pulling up on the pelvic floor. And relax. Brilliant. Either roll over or go down the other end of your mat. I'm going down the other end. Nobody wants to see me from the rear. Have your ball nearby. So make sure everything is stacked and in a straight line. Tummy pulled in and rib lifted. So single or double leg lift, taking a breath in to prepare. As you breathe out, float all the way up. There's no rotation here, not turning the head, not rolling the shoulders. Options are gluing feet together on the out breath. Now that's a smaller lift because we don't want the feet to separate. Lifting the head and neck. If your neck is okay, if your shoulders are okay, into the waist there. Now once you lift the legs and the head and neck, please watch out for the lower back. Pull the belly button in. Make sure you're lifting on an out breath. So a few more here. Mentally think about lifting up for a count of 2 and down for a count of 2. Guys, we're going to hold the next one up. Come on up when you're ready. And can you please scissor your legs? So this can be just the top leg, can be top and bottom. We do want the knees to be straight so the movement is coming from the hip. You can start to make it bigger if that feels okay. You might need the top hand to come down to support you. Head can be up or down. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come on down. Draw the knees in, hug the knee, or drop the leg. Hold it there. So take a couple of breaths. And then when you're ready, either bend your top knee and just take the leg behind you to get the hip flexor stretch, or holding the ankle, pulling the knee down, straightening the bottom leg, tucking the pelvis. Long spine. Option to drop your toe behind you and just rotate a little bit if you can't reach your foot. And relax. Super. Guys, coming into clap. Draw the knees in. Not too far, about 45 degrees. Feet, hips, shoulders in line. So your options are taking a breath in, breathing out, rotating. Small range, just the knee. Option to lift the whole bent leg if your hip doesn't like the rotation. Option to flick the toes up and reduce the base of support. Good. Now the level you chose on the other side might not work on this side. We're not symmetrical from right to left. Option to extend the leg for those that want to, with a flexed foot to hopefully avoid cramp. Point the toe to come back in and then lower down. So primary goal here to strengthen the hip. Secondary goal to work on that pelvic floor. So drawing up on the pelvic floor, staying connected, pulling the belly button towards the backbone. Maybe put your hand on your glute. Check that you can feel it firing. Oh, I can feel mine. Coming into your last one, guys. Take your time with this. Good. Once you finish that last one, either just drop or hug your leg in front again, or you can extend it out into a bent leg hamstring stretch. Just something that switches it off and also gives your back a little bit of relief there. And then bend that leg. And we'll come to open door. So ball between the knees, cushion, hug, whatever you've got there. Feet, hips, shoulders in line, knees bent at 45 degrees. can you hitch your bottom rib away from the mat and try to keep it off the mat? When you're ready, rolling into open door, just breathing naturally till you get there, then holding for at least one in-breath, squeezing the ball and closing on the out-breath. So you can do this with nothing between your knees, but you'll get a better connection on your inner thigh and your pelvic floor if you've got something to squeeze against. Lovely. So keep moving. Think about where the rotation's coming from. Should be coming through the neck, the shoulders, the upper thoracic spine. You might get a little bit of top of the lumbar spine moving, but we definitely don't want lower back or pelvis to be joining in. Make sure you got that constant connection by pressing on the ball or cushion, pelvic floor, inner thigh, and pulling the belly button in, transverse, good. Nice steady breaths, no breath holding. And lastly, just watch the arms not floating up, because that's just going to go into your neck. Make sure it's chest height. Coming into your last one, guys. Take your time with this. Lovely. Guys, once you close up from there, have a little breather. Relax the hip. Take the ball or the cushion away. And when you feel ready to slowly come over onto all fours, then please come over onto all fours. So we're going to work tricep next in this position. Okay, and it is a variation of your Superman. So options here, opposite arm to leg, pressing back, working into the tricep. Option to do it with a dumbbell. Option to do it with a band. Option to just do arms. So we're going to do 4 on the right and 4 on the left. We're going to keep the back flat. I'm resting on 2 dumbbells, but you might just want to rest on 1. See how the wrists feel. So 4 on one side, 4 on the other. Now the arm and leg are both moving backwards. So you've lost your counterbalance of the arm going forward as the leg goes back. It's going to challenge your stability a bit more. If you can get your arm out higher than your body, then you'll be working more into posterior chain. Keep your head in line with your spine, breathing out as you press back. If the back's not good, if it's tired, then just do the arm. Good. So let's keep moving slowly. 4 right, 4 left. Exhaling to push. Inhaling to come back. Can you make sure your supporting elbow isn't locked? Soften it, please. So we want to finish with 4 on the left arm, please. So take your time, and once you've done your final set of 4 on the left arm, push your weights or your band off to one side there. And then you can either cat stretch or shell stretch. Maybe release the wrists, maybe want to come to child's pose. But whatever your position is, just relax the spine. Breathing into it. And then supporting with the hands on the floor and uncurling. Head coming up last. Coming down onto your bottom for our full seated roll back for those that can. And we're going to use our band to help us to start with, see how the back reacts to this one. And so, not unlike the half roll back, just going further. So I'm going to start with my legs bent. And because I want to go all the way down, I'm not going to put the ball behind me. I'm going to keep my feet hip distance apart. I'm going to scoop and roll. Guys, if you get to here and then you plonk, then you're not ready to go all the way. So just get something behind you if that's the case. So a ball, a cushion, a block or a hug. I'm rolling all the way down and then I'm peeling myself slowly up, and at this point I'm using my hands and the band to support me. So your harder option would be to do it with straight legs, longer levers, still segmental control of the spine. It's going to take you several breaths to get there and back. It's a long, slow roll. So working without my band or with my band in my hands, maybe just getting a little bit of support in the lower back. Probably not the ball if you're going all the way down, that's a bit big, but a soft cushion or a thin block is okay. Fill that gap in the back. So keeping my arms high to add strength. Option to add forward flexion. Stretch the hamstrings and the back. Option to hold halfway down and pause and add a little bit of rotation. Now if you're strong enough to switch your band for your dumbbell, you can do. That is not going to suit everybody. So if you don't want to hang about there, if your back doesn't like rotation, you are just rolling up and down. And that can be full or partial roll down. Guys, we're going to do one more set of whatever option you've chosen, and it'll finish in the seated position because that's where it started. So one more round if you can, but if you're ready just to come to slump stretch and release your back, that's okay, go there. So we can either go wide leg slump stretch when we finished, or cross leg forward fold if that feels nice. Breathe into the back of the rib cage. And then uncurling the spine. And I'm going to come down onto, actually let's have a chest stretch first. Let's have a chest stretch. So that can be with bent legs or straight legs. We're going to squeeze the shoulder blades together and open the chest. And just take a couple of breaths there. You can poke your chin a little bit, but don't throw your head back. Last breath in and out. And then relax. Good, let's come down onto the back now. So popping something under your head, if that feels good. And then just one final knee hug or hip roll, feet together or apart. Just one last little bit of mobility for the lower back. Try a couple of different stretches if it feels good. And we'll finish with a hamstring stretch. So when you are ready, grab your band, take it round the sole of your right foot. Pull your elbows down. Relax your neck and shoulders. Now slide your left leg away if that feels okay. It might just want to go halfway out. It might want to stay fully in. So we don't want the stretch to shift from the hamstring to the back. So developing the stretch if we can. Take a breath in. Breathe out, draw the leg a little closer to you. You want to feel tension, and then you want to feel the tension release. But if it's shaking, that's too far. Guys, you can either flex and point the foot, or you can just flex the foot and hold if that feels good. If it doesn't feel good, just relax the ankle. Continue to pull on the band and stretch the hamstring. Holding the stretch, pushing the tailbone down but softening the back of the knee. Can you give me a small sway of the leg, slowly, or a small circle of the leg? Both movements coming through the hip. Now think about those 4 points of contact, buttocks and shoulders staying on the mat. If everything feels okay, you can put your band just into the right hand, and that will help you to go with a bigger sway or a bigger circle. Good. Some of you might want to cross the midline of the body and lift the bottom and take the stretch away from the leg and into the bum and the back. That's just going to depend on where you are feeling tight. So you can make this just about the leg, or you can make it about the leg and the back. So if you're crossing the midline, it might feel better to have your bottom leg straight. Otherwise, keep it bent. Next one is your last one. You're going to come back to center, draw your left leg in, change your feet inside the band, pull the elbows down, sliding the bottom leg halfway or all the way out. If that feels good, not if it pulls through the back. Taking a breath in, breathing out, drawing the whole leg closer to you. That can be bent or straight. And then either flexing the foot and holding, or flexing and pointing. Now, if anything is shaking, you've gone too far. Just ease off a little bit, please. Can you soften the back of your knee? And small leg sway or small leg circle. Keeping the buttocks down, shoulders down. Elbows can be down for stability if that's what you need. Otherwise, you can hold nearer the top of the band just with your left hand and continue to sway or circle. Maybe think about using this spare hand to check your pelvic stability. If you want to get into the buttock, switch hands, cross the midline, lift the buttock. And so think about either holding the stretch or just moving slowly. Sometimes one just works better than the other, just depending on what you need there. Well done, guys. Make this next one your last one. And then come on back to center, slipping the foot out of the band. Coming over onto all fours, please. And let's either finish with cat stretch or downward dog. So cat stretch, giving the spine one last release. Downward dog, stretching into shoulders, calves and hamstrings, backs of hips. Whichever one you're doing, just taking some nice shallow breaths as you do it. And then those of you that can come back up through downward dog, please do. If you just need to put one leg in front of the other to come up, that's fine. Please come up slowly. Use your hands to support you. Bend your knees and protect your back. And then coming up to the standing position, please. Taking the arms up, inhaling, press into the ceiling. Coming across to the right corner. Squeeze the glutes, inhale up, switch on those glutes, come left corner. Come center, and arms are down. Let's check how those shoulders feel, hopefully nice and loose. And one last rotation through the spine and the pelvis. And give yourselves a clap. Thank you very much. Come on in.